2024. I must mention that the DBE, each province adopted a differentiated approach during the audit and successfully complied with the established procedures. That includes examination centers where special subjects such as IT, CAT, and the South African Sign Language home language will be administered. Examination centers across the 4 assessment bodies have been profiled, they have been classified based on their risk levels. So they have been categorized according to high risk, according to moderate and low risks. The high risk centers for the provinces, they have implemented monitoring systems to ensure compliance and oversight. Also for the 3 assessment bodies, all the high risk centers are being closely monitored. Overall, Umalusi is assured regarding the risk profiling of examination centers by the assessment bodies and the systems put in place to address the risks. In terms of the internal assessment, all assessment bodies have management plans in place. They have processes in place to manage the school-based assessment, the practical assessment, and the oral assessment to ensure their credibility. So for the NSC, for the DBE, the IB, and Sakai, the plans are in place for those 3 components. And for the GET ABET, it's for the school-based assessment, and for the DHET, NATED, and NCV is for the ICAS and the ISET. Moderation management plans have been established with subject specialists appointed and internal moderation currently in progress across the assessment bodies. Overall, Umalusi is assured that the assessment bodies have implemented adequate management plans for moderation, including the appointment of subject specialists and the execution of internal moderation processes. Umalusi requirements for internal assessment have been complied with. In terms of printing, packaging, storage, and distribution across the 4 assessment bodies, the service level agreements for printing examination materials have been established, they have been signed, management plans are currently being implemented. A risk assessment for printing, packaging, storage, and distribution has been conducted by the assessment bodies, and appropriate mitigating strategies are in place. Storage locations have undergone audits, and norms and standards for the security of examination materials are established and strictly enforced. However, some storage locations have been partially approved by the DBE. To mitigate this risk, the DBE is ensuring that the affected provinces seek a concession from the HOD. Overall, Umalusi is satisfied with the continuous enhancement of security measures, particularly the expedited vetting of individuals involved in handling live question papers. To mitigate the identified risk regarding unapproved storage locations, the DBE, as indicated, will utilize concessions from the HOD, and Umalusi will sample some of these locations for monitoring purposes. The mitigating strategies for all identified risks will be closely monitored. All security protocols concerning the printing of examination materials are considered classified and treated with strict confidentiality. I just want to say disclosing any details would compromise the integrity of the entire process, or sharing specifics would risk undermining the measures designed to safeguard these examinations. We are committed to maintaining these security features under strict lock and key to protect the integrity of the examinations. In terms of the conduct of examinations across the 4 assessment bodies, policies, guidelines, and standard operating procedures are in place. The DBE adopted a cluster-based training approach across the provinces for the monitors and invigilation teams. And for the IEB and Sakai, training of the chief invigilators, the monitors has been concluded. For the DHEAD, the training of invigilators started on the 2nd of October 2024, and it will conclude on the 24th of October 2024. Overall, for all assessment bodies, monitoring coverage has been established and plans developed to ensure the integrity of the writing process during the administration of the examinations. Umalusi will monitor the implementation of the monitoring plans and report on its findings. In terms of marker selection and appointments of marking personnel, the selection of markers for the DBE was carried out in accordance with the PEM requirements, and appointments have been made with appointment letters currently being issued. Across the assessment bodies, DHEAD, IEB, and Sakai, for the NSC, the selection and appointment of markers has been conducted. They have appointed the markers, and no shortages were noted for the DHEAD, the IEB, and Sakai. However, the DBE has adopted various strategies to mitigate the risk of marker shortages. This is a risk that was observed in terms of the shortage of markers for the DBE. They have contingency plans in place to address the risk. What they are doing to mitigate the risk, they conduct additional recruitment drives, they implement staggered marking, and extend the duration of marking sessions. And in terms of the subjects that will be impacted, they include history, English home language, and Afrikaans home and first additional language, primarily within language paper 3. Marking plans have been established, and a staggered marking approach will be implemented, set to begin in November 2024. And for the DHEAD, IEB, and Sakai, for the GTC ABET, selection is yet to be finalized. As you can see, for the DHEAD, it's 17 October 2024, the IEB 31st of October, and Sakai the 26th of October 2024. Overall, Umalusi is currently conducting an audit of the appointed markers to verify their appointments in accordance with established criteria. In cases of shortages, Umalusi will monitor the implementation of a staggered approach to ensure the credibility of the examinations. In terms of systems for mark capturing, the DBE has implemented mark capturing systems at both the national and provincial levels to facilitate the standardization of results. DBE has fully complied with Umalusi's requirements in the previous examination cycles. With the DHEAD, they use a double entry system where one appointed official will enter a mark and the other will verify. The same approach is used by the IEB and Sakai for the GTC. Overall, all assessment bodies complied with Umalusi's requirements during the April, June, August, and September 2024 examinations, and the standardization data was processed successfully. Now, this track record reinforces confidence in their preparations for the upcoming examinations. In terms of management of examination irregularities across the 4 assessment bodies, the structures for addressing and managing examination irregularities have been established in accordance with the regulations governing the conduct, administration, and management of the examinations. Measures to deal and handle different types of irregularities are in place across the 4 assessment bodies, including mitigating strategies. Overall, the structures for addressing and managing examination irregularities are established across the assessment bodies, with their functionality monitored by the assessment bodies. Umalusi found the strategies determined to combat irregularities implementable and acceptable. Thank you. I will now hand over to our CEO.
Thank you very much, Madia and Dr. Tliwayo, for the succinct presentation. Based on the report presented, I can report to the South African public that, by and large, the system is ready to administer the 2024 end-of-year national examinations. Umalusi would like to applaud the efforts of the Department of Basic Education, provincial departments of education, the Independent Examinations Board, the South African Comprehensive Assessment Institute, and the Department of Higher Education and Training for doing everything humanly possible to uphold the credibility and integrity of the examinations. The highlighted areas of concern are not systemic and therefore will not put the overall credibility and integrity of the 2024 examinations in jeopardy. All the concerns have been brought to the attention of the relevant heads of department in the provinces and the Directors General of the Department of Basic Education and the Department of Higher Education and Training, the CEOs of the IEB and Sakai, for the corrective actions to be taken before the start of the examinations. There is one area of general concern that I would like to highlight. The area relates to the low number of candidates, especially in the public system, who apply for assessment concessions annually. The question that always gets asked within Umalusi is whether deserving candidates are aware of their eligibility for assessment concessions to enable them to demonstrate their true potential in the examinations under no time pressures. Another matter of equal or greater importance relates to the elimination of errors in question papers. To tighten our oversight role as a quality council, Umalusi has intensified training of all our external moderators. In addition, we had focused training sessions with the external moderators responsible for subjects which have in the past caused public debates. The Umalusi external moderators are obliged to conduct thorough proofreading of the papers before approving them, ensuring that all aspects are error-free and aligned with the examination standards. Umalusi's stance is that there should be no error in the question papers. There should be no errors. That is our position. No errors in the question papers. On another note, we'd like to issue a stern warning to all learners and teachers alike to refrain from involvement in all forms of cheating during the examinations. Umalusi berates and condemns this criminal practice with the contempt it deserves. Cheating compromises the integrity of our national examination system, which we are mandated to jealously protect as a quality council, and I'm referring here to Umalusi, that cheating does not pay finds support in the judgment of the Mpumalanga Division of the High Court in delivering his judgment on 12 August 2024 in respect of the 444 learners from a number of schools in the Mpumalanga province who cheated during the NSC examinations during October-December 2022. The acting judge said in paragraph 27, I'm of the view, having regard to the record that is before me, that indeed the irregularities were committed as found by the department. The decision was the correct one. That is the decision to punish those students. Paragraph 37 says, I have no doubt that the learners have cheated and had deserved to be punished as they were. What the learners must appreciate is that cheating does not pay. I want to repeat this line. What the learners must appreciate is that cheating does not pay. Concerning the cheating incidents, irregularities that were reported in January this year in connection with the 2023 examinations, we wish to report that the Department of Basic Education has concluded its investigations. Based on the findings, the results of the candidates found guilty have been nullified and the candidates have been barred from 1 to 3 examination sittings depending on the severity of each case. On another note, we discourage communities from using the examinations as leverage for any form of protest action. It is the duty of every South African to jealously protect the education of our children. Umalusi will deploy its officials to monitor the conduct of examinations to ensure full compliance with the relevant regulations. We appeal to parents, guardians, teachers, and every other stakeholder to provide the necessary support to all the candidates during this critical period of their educational journey and to do everything humanly possible to ensure that no candidate is unduly disadvantaged. We appeal to all South Africans to support these important examinations. That is our appeal. Umalusi wishes the class of 2024 strength and determination as they enter the final lap of their journey in the general and further education and training system of our country. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Dr. Agometi. Thank you, Memadia. Thank you, Dr. Diwayo. Colleagues, Umalusi says the system is ready, so you've heard them. So what we're going to do now, we're going to open the floor for discussion. You introduce yourself and ask a question. This includes those colleagues who've joined us on the online platforms. And I'm going to ask my team here to assist with, if there are questions posted in the chat box, to assist with those. Can I start with the colleagues who are in the room here? Okay. I see. Can we assist the colleagues with the mics? You just turn your mic on. Everybody who wants to ask a question, can they? Yeah. Then I'll turn mine off to allow you to speak.
Spiro, can you just drop this? Drop this. Yeah, drop that, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. My question will go to Dr. Rakometi. The sale of fraudulent metric certificates.
Sorry, your name and organization, please.
Molemo Moto from SABC.
If you could just repeat your question, please.
It's about the sale of fraudulent metric certificates. Seemingly, it's still going unabated. My question is whether employers and higher education institutions are still heeding the call by the council to, periodically verify the qualifications of their employers and students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mulimo. Prega?
Hi there, it's Prega, Governor from News 24. I've got two questions. One is around the management of resources. I note that you mentioned that there's a prevalent shortage of staff across provincial education departments. And I want to know whether we are referring to the shortage of staff in the exam sections across the provinces, and how dire is the shortage, and what plans are being made to mitigate this. The other question is around the categorization of the exam centers, according to high risk, moderate, and low risk. Is there any indication of the total number of centers that have been classified as high risk in the country? Thanks.
Okay, can turn a mic off, Prega? I'm not sure if you did indicate the media house you represent.
News 24.
Oh, okay, thank you. Is there another hand? No? Okay, okay. Okay, there's a colleague at the back.
Pumzile Blangeni from the SABC. Mine is just a follow-up on the high-risk centers. If you can just explain what makes a center high-risk. Thank you.
Thank you, Pumzile. Let's entertain these questions and we will open for the second round.
Thank you very much for the questions. They are truly appreciated. The sale of fraudulent certificates, indeed, you are right, Mulimo, is continuing, and very unfortunate that we've got people pursuing such unfortunate practices in our system, where if a person is qualified and he has a certificate, it is a testament that he has gone through some studies and has acquired some knowledge. Now, very unfortunate, people acquire certificates fraudulently, and these certificates do not indicate their competencies because they have not done the work. And also for the employers, if you employ anybody without having verified the qualifications, you are shortchanging yourself. That's the long and short of it, because you are going to get a person who does not know the job, who does not have the competencies that he claims he has with the presentation of that certificate. And I want to add that such fraudulent certificates do not appear on our database. They will not appear. So there's nothing that backs them up. They don't appear on our database. Indeed, we see more and more employers coming to the party, as indicated in my statement. In the past financial year, we've seen the number of verifications increase to 340,000, I said, when in the previous financial years, they were below 300,000. So there is an increase. That shows that the employers are heeding our call to do the verification. But let me take it a step further. It will do no harm to redo the exercise where people have been long in an organization, to say, like we did at Umalusi at some point, I think it was around 2016, we said, everybody come present your certificates because we don't have the certificates that we've acquired with the universities. Everybody came to the party, they presented their certificates, we did verification. As a result, as a quality council, we are sure that everybody who works here, his or her certificates are authentic. They are authentic. So that is the response that I want to give you, Mulemo. Regarding the shortage of staff, it is a perennial problem. Why I'm saying this is because during these state of readiness meetings, media briefings, we have, over the years, indicated that there is a problem in this area. We have indicated that. And as Member Rimadi has reported in a presentation, the different provincial education departments have employed some contingency measures. We don't want contingency measures. We want full-time employees in exams. People in exams work very hard. They work long hours. They are under a lot of pressure. They go home late. They start early in the morning. So in order to ensure that they are not overstretched to the point where they'll experience burnout in some instances, we've been calling over the years that they have to be properly capacitated in the different exams directorates. And you ask a question, is it in the departments overall or in exams? It is in exams. We are talking exams. It is in exams. So the appeal that we are making is to the employer. And the employers are the heads of the different provincial education departments, also called superintendents general, for education in the different provinces, to say this matter has been raised several times. It has to be corrected. It cannot go on like this. Otherwise, it will compromise the examinations. Contingency measures, yes, appreciated as a stopgap measure, but that is not where we should be as a country. That is my appeal. The number of high-risk centers, we unfortunately do not have them here, but we could get them from the office and provide them after this media briefing as to what is the number, and we'll get in touch with Mr. Leporta in that regard. Now, what qualifies a center to be a high-risk center? High-risk centers are repeat offenders, where we have seen, malpractices in the past when it comes to examinations. So those are flagged to say they are high-risk centers. Therefore, we have to intensify our monitoring of these centers because they have proved themselves that they can't run examinations. I'm not sure whether Memadia and Dr. Dliwa would want to add another criteria, but I'm just saying on my part, they are repeat offenders. Do you want to add anything, Mary?
Yes. Thank you, CEO. I just want to add that some of the examination centers are classified as high risk, mainly because they will be administering this national examination for the first time. So it is more of support, but they classify them as high risk. And also at a center where the chief invigilator is newly appointed. It is a way of supporting the center. And also, centers offering grade 12 for the first time, presenting matric for the first time, and managing the national examinations for the first time. So those would be categorized under the high risk. Thank you.
We covered.
Okay. Okay. I hope all the questions have been responded to. Before I allow the colleagues here to ask, let me just check with my colleagues if there are questions on the online platform. There's nothing. I just wanted to see if we do have additional questions or follow-up questions on the ones asked. You can just turn on your mic. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Tulufelo Zogu from Kai News. We have seen issues of, what do you call this now, with people asking for protection fees. We've seen particularly in the Eastern Cape where schools were targeted. Is there any sort of concern from Umalusi that the issue of these protection fees can start affecting matric exams this year?
Thank you, Zulu. Additional questions? None. Okay.
Regarding what you are talking about, that there is a possibility. There is a possibility. I've been following the developments in the media about the extortionists in that province, and my take is that the law enforcement agencies are on top of the situation. They are on top of the game with regard to this. Their eyes are wide open. They are aware of the problem and they'll take care of it. And I want to appeal, like I did in my statement, that please don't touch the education of our children. It is something very delicate. It is something that is very close to all of us as South Africans, not only to the parents of these children, but to all of us, because it is the future of this country. So I'm saying, I'm leaving that to the law enforcement agencies. It is the space that we have to watch. We don't have to wait for emergencies to arise, but the law enforcement agencies should be taking care of the situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Siho. Zulu wants to come back and Prega thereafter.
Umzile from the SABC again. On the issue of...
Can you switch off? Sorry. Oh, it's me who's on. Sorry.
On the issue of online schools, I just want clarity. Does it mean that matric certificates obtained from those certain schools are invalid because they have not been, through via Malusi? I just want clarity with regards to that. Can you apply to university with the certificate you got via SAICA?
Thank you. Prega?
Sorry, I've got two more questions. Regarding the judgment that was delivered in August, so basically, I even wrote a story on that. The judge ordered that the results of the 444 candidates be given to them, despite the fact that the judge said that they had cheated. I wanted to just find out whether this judgment was appealed by Umalusi or the DBE. And secondly, and if it wasn't, would the message not be conveyed out there that cheating is fine and we can get away with it? And the second question is the point around the partial approval of storage locations for the exam scripts. Any idea why the DB had partially approved storage locations? What were the reasons for not granting full approval?
Thank you. Prega, any more hands? No. Over to the CEO and the panelists and his panelists.
Spiwe. Can I respond? We dealt with the issue of protection fees. We are on the question of online schools. The different assessment bodies have requested some concession with some online schools. And where such requests were made and granted, those students will be issued with their certificates and they'll be able to go to universities with those certificates because permission was granted. And when such permission is granted, it comes with conditions that the different assessment bodies who have requested for such permission have to meet. Stringent conditions. So in those instances, certificates will be issued, the learners don't have to panic. In instances where no concession was granted, those learners will not get certificates. That is as clear as that. There are people who ask for concessions, they were granted, they will be certified. Those who do not ask, because online schools are not regulated as things stand in this country. Right? That answers the question. Mr. Governor, yes indeed, the matter was appealed. And with the appeal having succeeded and still to be heard, I take it that the matter is sub judice, and I don't want to comment a lot about it. I want to leave it to our honorable courts to look at the matter, assess it, and pass final judgment on the matter. Cheating is a no-go area for any self-respecting candidate. If you respect yourself, you should not cheat in the examination. And if you want to succeed in life, you don't cheat. You can't cut corners and hope to succeed. You'll fail ultimately. You'll be caught out. You'll be caught out. So that is my comment. Cheating does not pay. It does not pay. When it comes to the question of provisional storage, I'm going to hand it over to my two colleagues, Mary or Dr. Liwa, any of the two. You can take it. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. When it comes to the storage facilities, the DBE has very strict norms and standards that the provincial education departments must adhere to. So you find that in some of the storage locations, they do not comply. They have the non-negotiables, and that would include the double locking system, for example. So if the storage facility does not have that double locking system, it will not be approved, or it will be partially approved. Or if the manager, the person who manages the storage, is below salary level 8, that for the DBE is a non-negotiable. So those are the kind of centers that storages that would be partially approved, and we have recorded this as a concern to say if the DBE has not approved these centers, something must be done about that. And as you have seen from my presentation, they are planning to apply for concession to the HOD for those storage centers. Thank you.
Yeah. What does it mean to provisionally approve? It means maybe from now until the examinations commence, we allow the situation before we make our pronouncement on the state of readiness. Having written to the HODs, and they've all received the letters, including the DJs, the examinations should not start until they take remedial measures. To appoint, for instance, a person of the right seniority to manage the storage facility, as Memadi has said. And where there is no double locking system, to put it before the examinations commence. That is the call that we are making to the department as a quality assurance body. So that is what it is. They have to correct the situation. In fact, the letters that we wrote to the different assessment bodies are very clear that these issues that we have identified must be corrected before the examinations commence. So, because we want to run a clean examination. Thank you, Mary.
I think we have addressed the questions. Let me check, go back to my colleagues to check if we have questions on the online platforms now. Last round now. Next.
Good day. I'm Zabuza Muhammad from DVET the curriculum. I hear you, Mr. Ragometi, on what you're saying regarding the fact that you don't want there to be contingency plans when it comes to there being not enough staff members. But I'm just a bit concerned as to if the DVE or the employer does not get enough people that are going to manage from the DVE side. Will that constitute as not ready? Because we are now 10 days away from the exam. So what will that mean if they do not get enough? And then just out of curiosity, why is it so easy for people to forge certificates? And what measures does Umalusi have to ensure that it doesn't continue? Because the rate keeps increasing. We get to court, people get caught out. But why is it so easy?
Okay.
Thank you, Mem Khema. Any last end? Nothing? Okay, so I'll take it that is the last question unless there's a follow-up. CEO?
Yeah, now contingency means that if there were 70 and we want 100, had measures to have 100 for this year with temporary workers. So it means for this year they are compliant, but that's a temporary measure. That's what contingency means. In other words, what we are trying to protect here are the examinations. We are 10 days away from the examinations, yes, but they've got the full complement. But it's a stopgap measure. And we are saying in future we don't want stopgap measures. They've got adequate time to plan such that next year, come this time, they've got full staff complements in the different provincial education departments. That's what we meant. That's what we meant. I don't want to repeat. I think it is clear enough. Thank you. Khema, it is not easy to forge the Umalusi certificate. You know? Those fraudulent certificates in local lingua, they are from Kong. They are from Kong. They are from Kong in the truest sense of the word, in terms of even the quality of the paper. They use photocopiers. We are not using photocopiers. The weight of the paper of the Umalusi certificate has a number of grams. It is weighty. The paper is weighty. And also it has got a number of security features that those people who operate in dark corners cannot duplicate. Security features. Just as an example, if you put the what you call the certificate against light, there are a lot of things that you'll see. Go get the Umalusi certificate, put it against light, ordinary light. There are features that we are going to see that you'll never see from a photocopy paper from a corner shop at the street that I don't want to name in Johannesburg or in Pretoria, in Bloemfontein. That is that. Further, there is a serial number on the certificate. That serial number will not match the serial number on our database. And just to illustrate the point also on the serial number, if you check it thoroughly and you turn the certificate upside down, that serial number, it is in red. That red ink penetrates to the back of the certificate. You can't duplicate that. And when you take this light, what do you call that? UV light. If you take UV light and you look at the certificate, there are many other features that you'll see. Then you'll begin to respect South African documents. So it is not easy. It is not easy to forge the Umalusi certificate. It is not easy. I want to emphasize that. Thank you very much.
Okay, I gather that we have now reached, unless if there's a last minute hand, but we don't have any questions from the online platforms. I think we have exhausted all the questions here. Before I hand over to Dr. Suji to do votes of thanks, what the CEO is explaining, Memo Khema and the colleagues, it's what Umalusi demonstrated practically during our State of Readiness media briefing last year. We demonstrated the security features, and if there's anyone interested here, they are welcome to remain. After this, we can demonstrate that to them once more. Thank you very much. I'm now going to ask Dr. Eva Suji, who's the executive manager for this branch, to deliver her votes of thanks. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, CEO, Mr. Sibanda, senior managers, Umalusi staff, and the media. Let me start by thanking all of you for your presence at this 2024 State of Readiness media briefing. We have come to the end of the State of Readiness processes. This day marks not only the end of the grueling process, but an important milestone for Umalusi and the various assessment bodies as they finally deliver on their promise to their stakeholders, namely the learners, parents, and the guardians. Let me thank in particular the following people. Firstly, I would like to thank the CEO, Dr. Mafura Kometsi, for providing visionary leadership. His wealth of experience in assessment and assessment processes benefits Umalusi and ultimately our education system in South Africa greatly. I convey a special word of appreciation to my two senior managers of the Quality Assurance of Assessment Units, Dr. Mary Antoinette Diliwayo and Ms. Mary Medea, and their teams for the effort in putting together all the reports in today's presentation. These findings informed the CEO's pronouncement on the state of readiness. I thank Mr. Biki Laporta and his PR and Comms team for working tirelessly and against tight timelines. A special word of thanks to all the assessment bodies for making sure that we deliver on our various mandates. The state of readiness processes are rigorous, and I want to commend the assessment bodies for their hard work and commitment. A word of appreciation to the ladies and gentlemen of the media for your willingness to cover this briefing on the state of readiness of the 2024 national examinations. In conclusion, let me wish the class of 2024 all the best as they prepare to sit the examinations. May you all have a safe journey as you travel back to your respective destinations, and please join us for a finger lunch. Thank you.